population, and welcome to Secret Wars TLDR. We are your war correspondents. I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
This is the show where we take the tie-ins for the currently running epic Marvel series Secret Wars, take all those tie-ins, read a bunch, and then break them down and give it to you in a digestible way.
Yeah.
Break it down.
That's right. Wiki, here it comes. My title that I read was Deadpool's Secret Wars number 3, but I also read numbers 2 and 3 because there's an earlier episode where I did number 1.
Nice.
I did Thor's number 2.
Nice.
Very nice. And I did 1602 Witch Hunter Angela, part 2.
That's right.
It's not number 2. It's part 2.
Right, because it's all oldie.
Yeah.
I guess I'll kick things off. If you're not familiar with Deadpool's Secret Wars, this is not a tie-in. At least that's according to Deadpool's vandalism on the book itself, which is to indicate this is not a tie-in. This is actually a book. It's a flashback, retcon kind of thing for the original Secret Wars in 1984, which was an episode of Back Issues. It's really, really good, where we talk about that book. This is basically Deadpool kind of inserting himself into that series, because he definitely wasn't invented by then.
Oh.
And so Deadpool Secret Wars is just a book where it's what if Deadpool was in the Secret Wars, only instead of what if now he's in Secret Wars.
Okay.
And
So it's like quasi what if.
Yeah, it's more like just a big, massive retcon joke thing. So
Okay.
it's like, it could be a joke. Like, it could be a what-if book, or it happened. Either way, no one cares. Like, either way, Marvel Editorial's gonna do whatever they want with it anyway.
Okay.
Hell, they could even have Deadpool be the only one to reference it, and everyone else is like, what? Were you there? But, whatever.
All right.
Deadpool's Secret Wars, of course, is written by Cullen Bunn with art by Jacopo Camangi and Matteo Lolli.
Oh. Colin Bunn's good.
Yes, he is, and he really captures Deadpool's voice really well in this book.
Nice.
All right, so if you're familiar with the 1984 Secret Wars book, this is basically like, what if you went to the Secret Wars? Like, that's what it is. It's like, what if someone who reads Marvel got transported into a comic book? It might as well be like Wishmaster. Like, it might as well just be...
So fanboy at Secret Wars.
Yeah, like... It might as well not even be about Deadpool, or it might as well just be you, like, or some guy.
Oh my god, it could be like one of those kids' picture books where there's like a little crappy reflective mirror
You're
in
there
the book
too, yeah.
over the face of the person who's like...
I mean, basically it is.
But you look at it and you just see like an eye.
Or it's
Yeah.
like really,
Because you're
like,
way too close to the book.
Yeah,
It's the worst kind of fan fiction I've ever seen, because it's, like, not just self-inserted fan fiction, where it's like, what if I was in the X-Files and got to help Scully and Mulder solve the case? It's like, what if I went to the Secret Wars and knew what was going to happen and made jokes at everyone's expense and also was really important and integral to the plot and solved all these problems?
Oh, he's a Mary Sue.
He's a Mary Sue. Big time.
Oh, does he also have
what?
a relationship?
Yes, he has several.
Mary Sue is a character that I believe it has originated from fan fiction.
I think so.
Where an original character is created and placed into a world, and that character is super interesting and the focus of all the characters, and regardless of their personality, all the characters really like them and they all want to help her or him. I really shouldn't just say her. But it's a term of that, where like you write this character and like they're pretty average, or they've got like, you know what I mean, but like they're really important in some way, shape, or form, and then they end up like, you know,
being really important,
Yeah.
and they like solve the big problem. And I think that Cullen Bunn is smart enough to make that joke. I think he knows that Deadpool's a Mary Sue character in this book. Maybe.
I'm sure he does.
I think he does, because he also makes Deadpool super attractive.
What?
Remember in Secret Wars when like there's that alien chick named Zazie who heals everybody? She touches them
Yeah.
and she heals them. She makes Johnny Storm fall in love with her, and then she touches Colossus and he falls in love with her, and Colossus gets all embarrassed and fucking pretends
Yeah, run through a wall.
Run through walls. Zazie heals Deadpool, but heals him completely.
Gotcha.
So he still has his healing factor, but he's no longer like a burn scar.
He doesn't look like a burn
mess.
victim anymore. He looks like the brawny paper towel guy. If you love Deadpool, if you like Mary Sue characters, if you want to pretend that you're Deadpool and that you got to go on this merry adventure with Marvel characters that didn't really affect the plot and who cares and whatever, then you should read this book because it's a lot of fun and it's also ridiculous and stupid.
Well, there you go. I mean, like, look, not all fan fiction is Mary Sue's, but every once in a while, reading something like that can be kind of like, okay.
It's a little fun.
A little bit.
It's a little fun, but, like, everybody he encounters thinks he's awesome. Like, it's more like at the end of it, we're gonna find out that Deadpool, like, is writing this book. Like,
like that
like,
one, like
fucking
Bugs Bunny.
duck-a-buck.
Yeah.
I'm taking it away with Thor's #2, written by Jason Aaron.
Yeah, good. Jason Aaron is writing the current Thor series with Jane Foster Thor.
Pencils by Chris Sprouse and Goran Sudzuka. I started off this entire series with #1, and it was like a cop drama. And it had all the cliches of a cop drama where, like, Ultimate Thor and Beta Ray Bill Thor were partners in this, and, like, there was a rookie Thor, and Ultimate Thor was like, you know, if you're gonna puke after seeing a dead body, do it 9 steps that way.
Oh my
God. Try not
God.
to throw up on anything that looks like evidence.
At any point, is there some sort of invisible monster that's killing gang members, and the rookie cop is going to have to go up against them?
No.
Is there a Thor police chief?
Yes. Yeah, it's Odin.
Oh!
Basically. It looks like Odin.
Damn it, Thor!
Because he's missing a patch. The great thing is that... So... He has the chief moment where he's reaming out Ultimate Thor and Beta Ray Bill Thor because there have been 5 murders and they don't have a suspect yet. They're like, I can't believe you two! Blah, blah, blah! And it's...
You wrecked 3 cars!
Hang on. Wait. Where does this take place?
Back in the Hall of Thors.
Okay, I just put them...
In a police station.
In a precinct.
Yeah. Because that's kind of what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see them dressed as Thors with, like, Odin behind, like, a desk. I hear crummy police chief desk.
He's like, this job's gonna kill me!
He's sitting in a throne, but you kind of feel like... It's a room he just, like, I have to dictate from this room. Like, bring me some coffee, bring me some mead, and, like, send someone in. I have to take some notes.
That sounds like a weird pitch. Let's do a police procedural with Thors. That's really weird.
Issue #1 started off kind of interesting. So at the end of issue #1, because I read that weeks ago, I think I did review.
I think you did.
Yeah. So Beta Ray Bill gets killed, and he whispers a name. Jane Foster.
Oh.
Issue 2 starts, and they're having basically a memorial for Beta Ray Bill in the Hall of Thors, where it's like this meadery in New York and Manhattan.
Oh.
It's the Thor bar, basically. Where all the Thors go to
It's like
drink.
the Irish bar for the cop. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're
Is
not
there
a
like
Thor...
an old Thor who's like works the bar, who's like, I used to be a Thor.
And there's pictures of Thors up behind.
Yeah, they're all like clasping
There are
hands
different
and laughing.
hammers hanging everywhere here.
Those are their badges, yeah.
And it's just like, not on the wall, but like when they go in, like they hang up their hammer.
Oh, okay.
At one point, like some shit broke out and like everyone raised their hands and all these hammers with them.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
It's kind of funny. It was
Man,
ridiculous.
Don't be flying through at that moment. Are you kidding me?
What's in a room?
Who ordered the wang?
Yeah.
So they're having a memorial, and everyone's really somber. And now the chief is, of course, being like, Beta Ray Bill was like the best of the best of the best. He was the best Thor. He was the Thor of Thors, he says. Like going on how he had 32 years in the service, and he moved up all these different ranks.
How many weeks away from retirement was he?
That was the joke I was waiting for. And he was 2 weeks away from retirement, too. All these cliches that I was just expecting. That one didn't happen. But Odin says, does anyone have any other words? After he has a page and a half of just spewing garbage about Beta Ray Bill's history.
Right.
And Ultimate Thor says one thing. It's just like, I have a word. Just one. Vengeance! And all the hammers, all the Thors hold up their hammers. They go, vengeance! And then they leave, apparently, after drinking a little bit of mead.
Oh.
It's
Whoa,
a really sad memorial.
Who was the DD?
No.
Or the DF?
Yeah.
The DF? They're all DFers.
Yeah, they're all...
Don't fly! Because they are way too drunk.
Just... Another realm was destroyed. They lost to Thor, and they all got wasted and just smashed into it.
No, so after that, they all decide that they need to round up the usual suspects. But they do so, it's like every cop got drunk. Every Thor got drunk. just wasted. And is like, I'm gonna go find a suspect! You! Ah!
Oh, I see.
So they go to Greenland and start beating up Hulks. They go to Sinister's place and they start beating up people.
Bar Sinister?
Bar Sinister. They go to some place with, like, it looks like vampires are flying around.
That's Pet Monster Metropolis, then, I'm sure.
They go to...
oh, maybe not. Isn't there also
They go to the
vampire?
Deadlands and they arrest a zombie. And I'm like, what?
One?
What?
No.
That one!
So the art changed and it started looking really bad. I don't know. The art changed in a bad way. I don't know if they got sloppy. I don't know if they... I think it's just because it was two different artists. And they didn't share anything. It's just like, this is how I'm drawing it.
Like the story...
This is how I'm drawing it. All right, let's go on a printer.
Well,
the story didn't change tones?
Yeah, did the art change because...
Like the story shifted, or was it just like...
Was it like a flashback?
No.
Or flash forward?
No.
You know what happened there? Someone couldn't finish the deadline.
That's my guess.
That's typically what happens.
Oh.
Ultimate Thor is shaking down a suspect. A nurse, basically.
Oh.
Not literally shaking them down.
No.
Oh, but, they do resort to advanced interrogation methods, as they say, where one Thor is holding a suspect and the other Thor is pounding them in the stomach with a hammer.
Okay, well,
I think it's a robot, but
like
that makes it better somehow.
Right. Well, they're still sentient. It's probably alternate.
Oh!
That's where he went.
He's getting beat up.
They pulled him out of the area.
He was like, "Oh, thank God, thank you so much. I just want to make sure that my wife and child."
Wow! Wow!
Who killed Beta Ray Bill? I don't even know what that is.
Who? And they're like, Jane Foster. I mean, she left a couple months ago. A Thor came and picked up all their stuff. He's like, a Thor did this? Yeah, I thought you guys knew. And then he turns around. He's like, leave him alone. And then Ultimate Thor is face to face with 616 Thor, who's missing his arm.
Oh,
with like the metal arm.
Thor Odinson.
Thor Odinson. So for about, I don't know, 5 more pages, these two just go back and forth with the worst dialogue ever of just like, you are such a blah blah blah. Yeah, well at least I blah 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 blah. And it's just a shit fest. Mm-hmm. From there, the book just kind of sucks. And just, I don't know. I was having fun in issue number 1, and I'm looking at this in number 2, and I'm like, this really went downhill, I'm sorry to say. The writing and the story just suffered.
Does at any point do any of the Thors say that they're too old for this shit?
No.
Okay, 1602 Witch Hunter Angela Part 2.
Right. Not issue 2.
Part
2.
2.
It is issue 2, but they call it
But
Part 2.
they call it Part 2.
To maintain the window dressing.
Yeah, exactly. Written by Marguerite Bennett, with art by Stephanie Hans.
Was it the same artist as before?
I believe so.
Good.
When we last left Angela and Sarah, the 2 witch hunters.
Right.
Huntresses, but they're hunters. They had been warned by the Enchantress that after 3 of her Faustians died, Sarah would die.
Oh.
Okay? So we come in with a reminder of that. The 2 of them are riding off, and Angela's, of course, a little concerned. She keeps kind of reminding her, like, if we keep doing this, we already killed 1 Faustian. Mm-hmm. And Sarah's like, yeah, but, like, I trust you.
Oh.
Because, like, they're sisters in arms, but they're also a lot more than that.
Oh.
They're sisters in bed.
No.
I don't think that's a term at all.
What?
But I like that.
Well, sisters in arms.
They're together.
Sometimes.
Yeah, they're together.
Yeah, that's sisters in bed. That's a new term, population term.
No! 2 of them come upon a wagon, which is under siege by fell beasts.
Fell beasts.
Anyone
cool.
who's ever played fantasy-based, WoW video game, you know what a fell beast is, essentially. But for those who don't know, in this world, fell beasts are beasts of the forest, bears, wolves, whatever, that have come under the sway of magic.
Right.
And the magic is clearly the Enchantresses. Mm-hmm. So the 2 of them are like, all right, let's get into the fray. And they get in there and they dispatch the fell beasts.
Yeah.
What is he? Never mind.
Anyway, we discovered that the wagon is a home to a traveling troupe of performers. The Gardener's Men.
Okay.
Gardiner's Men.
Yeah.
Those who are members of this are the Madame Gamora, who is a tumbler and fire eater. Pedar O'Queel, a bard. Arthur Douglas. There was all sorts of accents on that one, so sorry. Who's a strong man? Goodman Root, who is a hermit with a vow of silence.
Awesome.
And
And they're Yorkshire Terrier.
he has no name. But they picked him up and from some merchant. The merchant didn't mention how intelligent he was. Mm-hmm. And you could see him fighting the bears and stuff like that. But he's just a raccoon. He rides on people's shoulders. It's adorable. So these guys are headed for a village to perform at a wedding ceremony.
Okay.
Between Edwin Brock and Anne Weying.
Yeah.
W-E-Y-I-N-G?
Yep.
Okay.
That's Annie Weying and Eddie Brock. That's former Venom's ex-wife.
So they get to this village.
That's a bizarre reference.
They get to the village, and the
Don't spoil
village
it.
is very pagan,
Okay.
which they want to point out because paganism typically has ties to like fae magic, but the
Right.
Enchantress is that, so they're kind of like,
Yeah, they're a little worried.
Yeah, they're a little concerned, especially because like people always refer to them as like holy sisters because they follow God Doom.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like God Doom set them out on this mission. Like,
They just get out of their way.
right, essentially. But like they're like the Christianity to the
To the
in like our lore.
Yeah.
To
you
the
know.
pagans.
To
Yeah.
pagan. Yeah, exactly.
In a sense.
The only thing that's replaced is Christianity.
Yeah, kind of. Except like they get there and they're like, all right, whoa, they're very pagan, but like, and I sense the Enchantress's magic here, so let's just be cool.
Cautious, yeah.
And the true performers is like, all right, cool, whatever. By the way, everyone's personality is pretty spot on. You know, Drax, who's not Drax, is pretty quiet. Gamora's really leading the group in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Padar, I would say it was Padar, is funny and like, you know, blah, 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 like, you know.
Yeah.
He's very, like, quippy.
Right.
And she gives him a hard time constantly.
Angela does?
No, Gamora.
Oh, right. Well,
And, like, he uses, like, fireworks, like, that he would use in his display, but he shoots them at, like, their enemies and stuff
okay.
like that. Like, it's cute.
yeah.
It's cute, alright? That's all that matters. It's a lot of
Right.
fun and I like it. There's this really weird moment while they're there and, like, the couple is there and, like, the town folk are there and, like, everybody's around and they're, like, they realize that there's, like, they're gonna have to have this weird blood sacrifice because it's part of their pagan beliefs. And, like,
Oh, okay.
Angela and Sarah are, like, talking to each other about how, like, oh, that's really, like, weird and archaic and stuff like that. And they have this moment where, like, Angela says something about, like, they're like, well, we are living in the 17th century. And, like, Sarah, like, breaks the fourth wall and says, like, I'll deal with the fourth wall breaking here. As though this is a play or something.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
That's fun.
And so, like, I don't know, but it's just the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just go on with the story, and at this point, like, they put on this, like, kind of this farce in a way, because, again, they're just trying to keep a low profile until they find out what's what. And, like, they're like, we didn't bring you a wedding gift. And Sarah's like, let me give, like, tell you a tale.
Okay.
As our wedding gift. Let's all go to the tavern. Let's all go inside.
Right.
So they go in the tavern, and when they enter the tavern, the art changes.
Okay, that's cool.
Kind of like in the first issue.
Yes.
Where the art changed. And now we have the stories written by Marguerite again, but along with Kieran Gillen.
Karen Gillan, yep.
And the art's by Irene Coe, which I believe is the same team that did the last interior.
Gotcha.
Or like that,
Second part.
That other part. And at this point, the story that she offers is like this exaggeration of how Angela and Sarah met.
Oh.
And that really just, I'm not going to get into it.
Right.
If you want to read it, you're going to read it. But I will tell you it involves Odin
Okay.
and Heimdall.
Okay.
And it's really adorable. And, like, she barely changes the names. Like, instead of
Okay.
Angela, it's Angelo.
uh-huh.
And instead of Sarah, it's Sarah. And, like, Angela's like, oh my god, that's not what happened. The entire time. Like, she's just like, nope.
Yeah.
But, like, clearly part of it.
Yeah, it definitely happened.
Because, like, and that's where they really delve into the concept of what their relationship is.
That's cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Safe way of doing that. All right.
Yeah.
Right, it's interesting, right? Because you're like, well, that could be true.
We can say this with Angelo and Sarah.
Yeah, right.
Right, but it's clearly them.
Yes.
Like, even when they're drawn, it's clearly them. But anyway, so after they leave the tavern, everything shifts back to what it was.
Oh.
So we go back to the original art, or writing and art team.
Okay.
So
So the story was a story.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We go into the tavern, we get totally different art style, we leave the tavern, everyone's like, let's all go back outside.
Right, and the art goes back.
And the
to
art
where it
goes
was.
back, and the writer goes back.
Okay. It's the same writer for both stories.
Well, yeah, but no, we have an extra writer.
Right, Karen Gillan helps write the story, right?
So essentially, all hell breaks loose.
Oh.
Because Angela and Sarah catch on to the fact that Eddie Brock has been, like,
Possessed with a dark demon.
using magic to get Annie Anne Weying to love him.
Oh.
And then he turns into
Venom.
Venom,
Venom.
yeah.
Do you want me to tell you why?
Okay.
Or not? That's like the end of the book.
Let's not spoil it.
Yeah.
the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Gardener's Men are still with Angela and Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they haven't left the town.
Right.
So I don't know if they're going to continue into part 3.
I hope so.
But I hope so too, because it's a lot of fun. I dig this a lot. You know, because, like, I loved 1602 to begin with, but I also love stories that have the fantasy element to it, like this, like magic and such. It's very, not akin to The Witcher, but similar enough that, like, I'm just like, man, you took one of my favorite Marvel universes, and then you put fucking magic in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and took your favorite, like, team.
Yeah, I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved when Angela was involved with them. What?
That's the way you said you put fucking magic in it, like you were upset, but you're like, that is the coolest thing ever.
I think
Damn
it's
it!
so cool. It's so cool. What?
Shut up and take my money!
Oh!
I can't wait for part 3.
Remember, you were very high on part 1. Part 2, you seem much more subdued.
No,
But
I'm
I
so...
guess you were just as razzle-dazzled as you were the
I
first
was,
time.
except I have notes, so I'm much more, like, focused
Right.
instead of, like, all over
That's
the place.
great.
So
part 3, can't wait, but
I
same level of
can't
enthusiasm.
wait. No, absolutely. This was a great issue. Seeing the Guardians handled in this sense, it's adorable. It's not just... it's adorable.
Awesome.
It's so much fun. To see the character designs is
Yeah.
great. How they handled taking a lot of aliens and turning them into what would be a human being is phenomenal. Except for Groot, or except for Rocket, who is
It's just a raccoon.
yeah. It's amazing too because Groot like plays the mandolin,
Ah, that's fun.
so like he's just like yeah. I'm like
Cool.
Goodman.
What?
Groot.
How many issues?
I think this is 5,
Oh,
so I'm like
you got
2/5
3 more to
in. Yeah, I
go.
got 3 more to go. So I'm really excited to see this. Because it does reference what's going on in Secret Wars, essentially just by mentioning
Yeah, by Doom.
Doom. I'm interested to see if we get any more of this fourth wall breaking and what that actually means.
Yeah, like, is it a play? Or is it, like, that they're from out of time?
I don't know. Because, I mean, like, Angela very much could be. Because
I mean,
of the
Angela
fact
could
that
just be a Thor, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, she has that...
So she, like, knows about the other realms.
Right, and it's bizarre because in that story that Sarah told, like, we mentioned Odin, we mentioned Heimdall, you know what I mean? And if Odin is the head of...
the Thor core.
So, like, is there another Odin?
Or is it just, like, she's telling it in a... She's couching it in the 17th century idea.
Exactly.
That's cool.
So I'm interested very much to see where this goes. And the art style is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the writing's really spectacular. So there you go. I dug it.
Nice.
If
Very
you
cool.
if you liked issue 1 and picked up issue 2, pick it up. And if you haven't picked up issue 1 and you like this,
Go do it.
get it.
Get both.
Right?
Get on it.
Awesome. Cool, guys. Well, there you go. That was your rundown for this week's tie-ins for Secret War TLDR. We'll see you guys next week with hopefully another array of stories. Oh, wait a minute. We read one more book, didn't we? Third part in Old Man Logan. If you're not on board yet, now's probably the time to get on board because it's awesome. Part 2 was meh. I was like, oh.
Part 2 is transitional.
Yeah, you need part 2 to get part 3, or not. Ben just likes to take his time, like me. But,
nothing happened in part 3 that was reliant so much upon part 2 that
Right?
you couldn't do without.
nope, you can just get right there. But anyway, the point being, read parts 1 and 2, and then pick up part 3, because holy damn. I think we're all in agreement on that.
Yeah.
Good story.
So it's consistent, it's great. The only problem that I have that I noticed recently was, in Old Man Logan number 1, Logan references the Thors, and in Old Man Logan number 2 and 3, he doesn't know what Thors are. Whoops.
I didn't remember that at all.
I remember you saying that.
I got hooked up on Apocalypse.
Which was awesome.
No, I was like, the way he was talking, I was like,
Yeah, Apocalypse is a bitch in this universe.
yeah, it's
He's
really
a baron.
weird.
Yeah,
He
he's
knows
weird.
that-
He's subjugated to
Yeah.
No,
Doom.
it's not just that. He's just very conversational. And
Yeah,
like,
that-
in
well,
my
yeah.
head, I don't imagine Apocalypse being so like.
Yeah, no.
Well, hang on.
All right, that is just Bendis not ever having written Apocalypse.
Well, Age of Apocalypse, he is kind of talky.
Yes, but he's also very like regal, and he's if Apocalypse is talking, he's talking about how great he is and how he's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, and that's
This
not
Apocalypse
the
is
same.
like, oh, hold on there, Thor's like, oh, maybe we should. Like he's
Yeah,
wheeling and dealing.
that's what I was like.
Well, what are you doing, Apocalypse? That said, all right, let's talk about the
Well,
writing
he's
and
using the
art.
power of his big blue lips.
By talking through them.
Ooh.
He, so alright, in this Logan border hops Age of Apocalypse universe, then...
Kind of by accident.
Kind of by accident, but more because he wants to figure out what's going on. The Beta Ray Bill Chick Thor storm thing.
Goat
Yeah.
Thor.
The Goat Thor
That's
fights him, and then drops him in Your Armor Wars,
Yeah.
Technopolis.
Technopolis. I realized that too. I was like, I thought he fell through, and I was like, I had to pull up the map, and I was like, how the hell did this work? And I'm like, oh, it must have been when he...
Because they were flying
when
around.
he leapt at her.
Well, he's fighting Thor, and then she takes them up into the air, then he, like, tries to gut her.
By the way, that scene where he attacked her was amazing.
Oh my god.
He just jumps out with his claws.
Just boosh.
And she gives him the business.
Yes.
How dare you touch me? You're not worthy of touching me. I will destroy you.
She was really focused on the touching.
Yeah.
Like,
I
really.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was a badass moment, because you don't really get... When you get stories about the Thors, and you get intimate with them, and you're kind of hearing what them... They are not as impressed with each other as subjects should be.
Yeah.
And in this, we have a Thor who's, like, posturing. And I like that a lot. Especially because she's really not that great. She looks awesome, but, like, she let Wolverine get away. So she's clearly not that good of a Thor. But she's also, like...
But it doesn't matter.
She's also OP, so she's, like, really used to kicking ass and taking names and not having a real problem. Mostly because her reputation precedes her.
Yeah.
So having Logan be like, I killed the whole X-Men. Like, you're nobody. Like, badass and awesome. It makes you forget and forgive all of Bendis' continuity.
No, and I did. I truly forgot that.
No, yeah. You literally forget about it. But, like, it's awesome. And then he goes to Technopolis, which is also a very talky scene.
Hang on, what? We totally forgot the part where he runs into
Boom Boom.
Into Boom Boom, which I was like, it's Jubilee! No, it's not Jubilee, Tiffany.
It's Jubilee!
Because there were goggles, right?
Yeah.
And then I looked at her hair and I was like,
But Boom Boom has goggles.
Yeah.
Boom Boom was more of like a hardcore Jubilee on X-Force. It's like Kane from Kung Fu. Like, I could see a whole book where Old Man Logan literally just walks from one end of the map to the other map.
Yeah, except, alright, he technically border hopped once of his own choice.
Yes.
Yeah, and
now he's border hopped 2 times by the end of this book. 2 extra times. Not of his own decision.
Oh, no, I'm just saying.
Well, it doesn't matter.
A different book would just be him, like, traveling.
It's like him, this is like the quantum leap of...
Yes.
Except he's not jumping, he's just jumping into different situations.
He's not actually fixing anything.
He lands in Technopolis. Oh, boy. There's a technovirus in my body that's trying to...
So he lands in Technopolis, and he's awakened by Tony Stark and the General Rhodes, or General
he's a Thor.
Yeah.
Don't forget, he's a Thor.
Yeah.
Thor machine.
Rhodes is a Thor machine.
Which, by the way, I was like, I read this.
Yep.
And I only read the first one, and that's enough.
all you need.
I was like, I got this.
Yep, or if you watched our episode where we covered Armor Wars, that's all you needed to get into Old Man Logan number 3. Stark just chats with Wolverine the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, this is crazy, I can't believe you're from another place.
Is Old Man Logan going to jump to all of the time?
I don't think so. I think that, because there's only a few issues left, I feel like Old Man Logan, this is the first, okay, here's why this book is awesome. At first I thought it was just going to be cool, beautiful, we're just seeing, like, expanses of Utah and Wolverine, like, killing Punishers and stuff. Like, it was awesome. I thought, after this issue, we're actually going to make Old Man Logan a major player in Secret Wars. Mm-hmm. Like, Old Man Logan's going to fucking show up in Secret Wars number 5. Like, that's how important this issue made him seem. Every issue of every usual time we've read so far has had almost no bearing or any ancillary bearing on the main story.
Yeah.
At no point do you think, like, oh shit, like, Spider-Man Renew Your Vows is gonna show up in the main title and save the day.
But there are 2 things. There are 2 things that make Old Man Logan stand out in this episode that I think.
Okay.
First off, when General Rhodes, like, stands him down almost. Like, Logan and he both look at each other, and the claws are out, and the hammer's being held, and they're like, I think he's about to start something. And Old Man Logan's like, no, look, I'm old. I don't want to start anything.
Right.
I just want information.
Well, that's how you took that? I read that as Grunkle Stan being like, I don't know. I'm tired. Like, just
either way, him being like, he's old, like, I know I can't win this fight. I want to win.
I didn't think he was like, I can't win this fight. I think he's like, I don't care.
I thought it was just like, I thought he had the claws out by instinct, but he's just like, this is not the road I want to go down. I just want to talk.
Right, I know how this... I know what direction this goes in. I literally just did this.
I think he thought he was using the claws as like a scare tactic. He's like, alright, this is not what
he didn't get scared from the claws.
Damn.
Alright, well.
They must have other Wolverines.
Unsnicked.
And the other part is that when he's just like, I have to talk to Doom.
Yes!
I have seen a world, like, all I know is a world where I have seen people destroyed, where I have witnessed terrible
things. I've literally
things.
destroyed my team.
Now I am in a place where so much exists that changes all of my history. People are alive. Places are different. I need to know what's going on. I need to talk to Doom.
Yeah.
Well, you very much read Wolverine differently than I do. I'm like, Wolverine's like, I'm going to kill Doom.
I think he's going to go kill Doom. Like, I think he's going to kill Doom. I don't know. Like, I love the interpretations, but I also felt like he's like, I got to go talk to Doom.
Yeah, I read it very differently.
With
I
6
read it
words.
Yeah.
I read it like he almost has a chance at innocence again. Like,
Right, like, put me someplace else, I don't care.
No, there's a way for me to not have killed all of my friends.
Exactly.
No.
Or like,
I want that!
yeah, I get I feel that way too, that Wolverine is, or Logan is
It's
very
more
like,
positive.
yeah, it's
in
much
that
more like,
aspect.
I think he likes that too. I like the idea where he's like, maybe if my actions don't have consequences. Like, I live in a world where I'm not culpable for what I've done.
Where my history doesn't have to remain my history.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not... There are other worlds where I'm not a fucking monster.
How did you read
kill
it?
all my parents.
I literally read it where, like, Wolverine's like, yeah, I gotta go talk to Doom.
I gotta go talk.
I gotta go say Snick.
I got one word.
Yeah. And it takes up 2 pages.
Takes up 4 pages.
Yeah.
2 for one hand, 2 for another.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching Secret Wars TLDR. We are your war correspondents. I'm Sal.
I'm Ben. I'm a war correspondent.
Yeah, come on, get in on this.
Oh, and I'm Tiffany.
And we'll see you guys next week with an all-new Secret Wars TLDR.
On the front lines.
That's right. In Battleworld. Good reading.
It's more like Twilight.
Yeah. Twilight is just like, here's a really uninteresting person, and then all these really supposedly interesting people find her really fascinating, and she's the key.
Ben, it would be like if you wrote a fan fiction about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and you, like, inserted yourself.
And
into
the, like,
story.
the turtles were like,
whoa! You're awesome!
Yeah.
Ben! Thanks so much!
We need
and
Ben!
April was like, I'm so into you.
Yes.
Sweet.
So it's basically... sweet.
And Casey Jones wanted to be your best friend.
Yeah.
Ah, that'd be great.
There's actually a book...
He's my favorite.
There's a star-
I always say that Raphael's my favorite character.
But
in Teenage
Casey
Mutant Ninja
Jones,
Turtles.
really.
But Casey Jones.
But
is
there
my
you go.
favorite.
That's what it would be like. Like, regardless of any, like, personality flaws that you might have or write yourself as, it doesn't matter. Everybody
No one
likes
cares.
you. And, like, but you're important. So,
Yeah.
like, you know, even the bad guys are like,
There's a
after you.
book called I, Jedi that was originally a fan fiction book, but then eventually Lucas Books was so desperate before the reboot and everything that they were like, fine. And it's like 6,000 pages, and it's just about this guy who is awesome. And he's like the best pilot ever. And like Han Solo is like, he's better than me. And like, and then it turns out he's also force sensitive, and he's also a really important Jedi, and he's also super handsome. Like, just Jesus Christ, guys, that's Deadpool.